Welcome. This is Paul Finck, and this is the Mavericks Do It Different podcast, where we think different, be different, do different to create different results in everything that we do in our life for ourselves, our family, our community, our whole society. So continue to share, to listen, to engage in these conversations and be a part of it all, because this is where it happens. We're going to be talking about coaching today, what it is, what it all is all about, and what we can, why we would ever engage in this thing called coaching, either maybe as a coach, but even more importantly, why would we ever hire ourselves a coach? And what does that look like? And I've got some great peeps with me who are going to engage with us as well. And I'm going to bring them all up front and forward here. And these are some of our great coaches that I've worked with over the years that I'm honored to know and have them part of our lives. And what I'd like to do is have each of you say a couple words of introduction as to name, who you are, and where in the country you are and what your specialty is, if that would be okay. I know each of you have some form of specialty and background, so say a little bit of that. So why don't we get started? And Doug, why don't you lead us off? You're in the top of the screen there for me.
All right.
Off.
Sweetly. So my name is Doug McGurk, and thank you, Paul, for having us on. I'm in South Florida, actually neighbors with Chris down at the bottom here, just a few towns away. And I guess my specialty would be primarily in breakthroughs, communication, NLP. As a master practitioner and trainer of NLP and neo-Ericksonian hypnosis, I incorporate that in the work. And I don't necessarily refer to myself as a coach, as maybe a breakthrough catalyst, a lifestylist, or a neurostrategist, just to have a nice play on words. And I'll let the rest of the gang chime in as you ruminate on those descriptions.
So much to unpack there. We're going to come back to that. Chris Salem, go right ahead.
Thanks a lot, Paul, and great to be here amongst all you guys here. My name is Chris Salem, and yes, I don't call myself just a coach. I call myself a business acceleration strategist. And for me, it's all about getting to that foundation level. Without a foundation, you can't build anything above that. Like a house can't sit on a faulty foundation. So I'm all about getting to the root cause of challenges to generate, then overcome those challenges, then create solutions that lead to the results that we seek. So I'm very process oriented, both as an executive coach one-on-one or group, or working with organizations anywhere from a small business doing about $1 million up to about 150 million is my sweet spot in helping them to not only accelerate internally in the business through leadership, communication principles, teamwork development, but also creating valuable customer experiences and then implementing custom revenue and profit strategies that, when compounded in sequential order, will dramatically increase their revenue and profit margin to give them more options.
Very good. And Chris. Oh, and by the way, Chris Salem, since Doug and Chris are in the same town or close to it down in Florida.
Yeah, me and you are right here.
Up here in Connecticut. So we're actually are in the same town. So, Chris Abadas.
Hey, your favorite coach, Chris, Palm Beach, Florida, right near Doug. I specialize in the 3 L's: language, how you communicate with people; leadership, how you occur to other people; and leverage, how you get things done through systems, tools, and people. So my background is real estate. I used to run real estate companies and just became passionate about helping small businesses grow and leverage. And now I've dedicated my life to it. So that's primarily who I work with: small business owners, solo entrepreneurs, people that hit a ceiling and say, what the heck do I do now? When they want one of 3 things: more time, more money, more magic. And I help them connect the dots between those things.
Answer me this from all of you. why did you become a coach? And for me, I know was all about kind of full circle. I started off as a clinical psychologist, is what I studied in college. And for me, I've kind of come full circle in that whole idea of counseling in coaching is kind of some of my focus and some of my abilities thereof is to be there for my clients, whatever they need, in guiding them through. And it's my heartfelt, it's my passion, it's really where my desires are. What moved you into coaching? What got you in this space? And start with Chris Abazis.
So I was in sales, then I crossed over into leadership, and I really got passionate about leading people and helping other people develop. I realized I can make a difference by multiplication instead of addition. And then I was out there, I was getting asked to speak places, and people were like, "Hey, I love what you talked about. How do I get more of that?" And I was like, "Well, just give me your card. I'll let you know when I speak again." And then my coach was like, "You got to start. Listen, people. You got to give people an opportunity to plug into what you're doing, and you have to get into coaching." And I avoided it, but then I realized, I mean, my big why, my purpose in life is to have an impact on as many people as possible, make your life a little better, whether that's just cracking a joke with you on an elevator or through one of my coaching programs. So I have all that stuff and everything in between. And here I am. And I realize by helping other businesses be great and thrive, I can help those people have great lives. And then it trickles down to their customers, their clients. And I think it's hitting the fast forward button to change the world, really. So that's why I do it. I mean, that's how I got into it. That was a weird evolution.
Yeah, it seems like we've all kind of been through that. And a similar thing, I was really had some great success in real estate and real estate investing, and people just started tapping on my shoulder. How did you do? That was really how I ended up in coaching versus my desire to be the coach. And yeah, people tapping in from.
I think it chooses us. We don't. I mean, it kind of chooses us. Coaching.
Doug.
Thanks. Well, it's a calling, isn't it? Right. It's something that it's amazing. Like, this is what my hallucination is all of us have been coaching for free prior to making it a profession. We would always be just adding value, seeing someone who's having a challenge and offering some advice, solutions, an ear. I can, from my wild and winding path, I started out as a musician. So I started out in entertainment, and I love the fact that I was helping people have a distraction to change their state for a period of time, whether it be the records we made or being on the road, on tour. And, but I always loved helping people make great records. And then as I did that transition, now I help people make beautiful music of their lives or of their business. It's very similar. So rather than just entertaining people, now it's educating and entertaining, so that it's making it a full-on experience and helping people recreate their lives and create that swan song, so that, yeah, my goal is to leave the world a better place when I leave, and to have as big of an impact as possible. And the psychoremuneration is phenomenal when you see the business change, and then that changes their family life, which changes the community, which, is another exemplar of possibility. So it's a calling. It's purpose driven.
Say the least. Chris Salem.
Yeah, great question. I would say for me, it was kind of a combination of it sort of evolved into it, and also was a conscious choice, because at the time I had spent most of my career in sales since 1990. Had ran sales groups, had my own company where we represented other media companies and helping to build up accounts for them. And so we would be on certain projects for like a year, sometimes up to 3 years at a time. And I was able to take a lot of that experience and really getting to understand how people operate, how they process things, how they make decisions, how they communicate. And because of I immersed myself into that study, when my son was about 4 going on 5 years old, I made a conscious choice that I said, if I continue in what I'm doing, I'm not going to be around to be here for my son for all of his activities with the travel that I had at the time. So I made that choice to go into coaching, to take all that experience that I've worked with in business, also understanding people, and also going through my own transformation over 25 years ago in terms of how I rewired my thinking to think from a growth mindset, not from a fixed mindset. So I coupled all that in about 12, 13 years ago now that it's been full time. And to Doug's point, I've been mentoring for many years. So I was just able now to take all of that and package it up to provide value. And I've been speaking professionally for 23 years. So from that, I was able to now not only help people from the stage, but now I could help people one-on-one, in groups as well, even organizations, where now we can do a deeper dive to get to the root cause of the challenge and then find the solution to build sustainability in their business moving forward.
Yes. Scalability, sustainability in business, definitely on a personal level, on how to create your magic in your life. It's these are all the components. If you had to narrow it down, why is it that that people should hire a coach? Like what is some of the core components? And anybody, let's open this discussion up to uh, all of the above. What do you think? Why should people hire us?
Paul, could I go first? Because I'm only going to have about maybe 3-4 minutes
Yes,
before I got to jump on.
Chris has a hard stop, so he's going to be tapping out, and we're going to continue this conversation after him. Go right ahead, Chris.
So, I mean, you look at, just about anything. We all have areas that we're very good at. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. And when it comes to business or anything striving to accomplish anything, it's going to require a combination of the things we're good at and the things that we're not good at. That's why we have resources and systems, things like AI and so on. Because without systems, we will find that we're working in our business, not on our business. And that if we're going to succeed as business owners to take it to the next level, we have to learn how to work on our business, not just in it, and how to leverage those strengths and offset those weaknesses. Even though we can see things for ourselves and the things that we do well and be able to point that out on other people, regardless if you're a coach or not, even if you are a coach, we have our blind spots. And a lot of times the very things that I help other people do, I require to have someone do for me because we have those blind spots. So coaching is just one of those things that, if you approach it from a mentorship point of view, that's the point how I like to approach it. You're not doing for them, you're guiding them and you're helping them, to be accountable for their actions in terms of where they are and where they're going. So for me, coaching is vital for success in just about anything that you do. I don't care if it's your personal relationship with yourself, others, in your business, or whatever impact that you're looking to create in a nonprofit or in your community. It's just one of those things that's going to help you to keep yourself honest and accountable, and always having someone be behind your blind spots to point that out and to help you to move forward.
No question. Anybody else?
Well, love what Robin said there. Yeah, you can't see what you can't see. The truth is that every successful person had coaching to some degree. I mean, even if you look at like parenting, what are parents? Ultimately, we're coaches. We're doing our best to help. I mean, at a certain point, we're telling people what to do.
Coach. We need a coach for the coaches.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
Yeah,
need some coaches for the parents.
Well,
That'd be key. Hold on a minute, Chris Salem. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. I know you got to go. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
See you, Chris.
See you guys.
And yeah, so the parents need a coach. So
well, no, just using the example of how the most successful people all have coaches, meaning kids have parents to coach them. Like we're always like there's always that look to someone to help guide the way. If we want to be successful in some area, we want to find someone who has gotten the results that we're looking to achieve, and then ideally get them to help us see the path so that we can duplicate those results. Um, there's so many ways to do it, but when you have an official relationship where you're saying to someone, I'm willing to exchange this experience, whether it's money or what have you, for your words, for your guidance, we're going to actually apply it, as opposed to just Googling it or just YouTubing it. The having that other person, that other perspective, and that level of accountability transforms your ability to take those actions versus, exclusively self-discipline, where you just go, okay, I'm going to go on YouTube because the answers are out there. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to apply it, because the old saying, the devil's in the details, right? So just because we see something on YouTube doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get the nuances and the little bits that are possible. So while it's extraordinary right now, you're listening to this podcast, also look into the next step on how you could build a relationship with someone who's going to really help guide you along the way, and hold you accountable, and be a sort of meta perspective where they could see it from other areas to help you see what you can't see, to Robin's point.
Right. Yeah, Chris.
It's like Doug said, you can learn a lot of stuff. And I say that a lot of training, there's no shortage of information out there, like how to do stuff. I think what the magic in coaching is that in that moment, that what and when do we have to do, right? What do we have to do? When do we have to do it by, right? Taking the macro and breaking it down into the micro, because everyone knows what they wanted. Everyone's got New Year's resolutions. Everyone's got yearly business goals. They know what their 5-year plan is. But I think the magic in coaching is in that dynamic relationship between the coach and the coachee. Say, well, what's going on? Shining a light on maybe the blind spots. It's like a beach ball. We're standing on a beach ball. We're each standing on a different color of the beach ball. And it's like, I'm on the blue section. You're in the white section. Doug's on the red section. Hey, what's it look like over there? And so it's showing you your blind spots. And then it's collectively coming up with actions, steps to take. And I think it's in the action taking that there's the magic of coaching, which cannot be done by an AI robot, cannot be done from a YouTube training. It can't be done from sitting in a class. Not even, we go to all these big conventions and these big coaching events, and it's always, what are you going to do afterwards? What and how's that look? And by the way, it's a living, breathing thing. It changes on a regular basis, and that's why that ongoing relationship is so important. It's just, what are you getting done? And that accountability component. What are you going to do? Did you do it? What went right? What went wrong? What were your challenges? Let's reevaluate, create a new target, and create some new actions, and love it while you're doing it.
The biggest challenge that I see is that people believe that coaching is advice. Mm-hmm. And advice from a friend happens once. You just happen to be in front of them and you ask them, they give you advice, and then you may or may not go and follow through. And that's the way people see coaching sometimes. And they're like, no, I have my friend. I have my friend. He'll give me advice. I'll just go to him. The challenge is that, like you were saying, Chris, it's a living, breathing exchange. And no matter where you're headed, there's 1,000 adjustments in the journey. And having someone by your side through all those adjustments is what, I don't care how close a friend you have, after the third or fourth or fifth adjustment, they're going to go, enough. I got to step out for a moment. All right. And that is where the devastation happens with most people's lives, is all of a sudden the support team that they might have leaned into for the last couple weeks or couple months, all of a sudden isn't there for a critical moment. And that's the role of ongoing coaching all too often, is to truly be there for the distance. At least that's for me. And that's the way I designed everything that I do, is to be there truly for my clients, ongoing, not just in a moment, if you will.
Agreed. And the other benefit to, I guess, the shift is looking at it almost like a partnership, where, you know, from a coach's perspective or mentor's perspective, the person you're working with success is our success, that we're almost a success fiduciary, like the opportunity to celebrate and to be part of that journey. And for people who are looking to get into coaching, that's vital, because what we want to do is be so vested in our clients that we are like desperately wanting them to succeed, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to help them see what those opportunities are, what the next action item is, what that vision is, help them get that clarity, help them make those distinctions, and almost living vicariously through them while we are having our own journey. Of course, it's just we want to align with someone who genuinely is celebrating and wants your success, because then the coach is going to literally do whatever they need to do to help you make that happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not always the case, is it? And it truly is, this is a purposeful intent. We're drawn to this. This is in our blood, if you will, to be a coach, and to be a good one, at least, is someone who is there for their clients, and their whole focus is to help their clients succeed.
Yeah, it's funny. Like in this industry, we're all in this space, and we know how many people are in there. I'm not besmirching anybody.
Yeah, well, a little bit. Yeah.
No. Well, like let's put it this way: it's like real estate agents, right? How many real estate agents are there? Right. So there's so many people who got into coaching with great hearts, just like real estate people. You know, they're like agents. They have great hearts. They have great intent, and there's an element of there's such a saturated market, because I think people go into it going, oh, you're going to pay me to talk to you? This is great. I'll go be a coach. It's like, well, that's not quite, a little more to that, right? And so that's sometimes where people can be great marketers, but not necessarily the best executors of the actual coaching.
Takes a certain type, because you've got to be focused on your clients. You've got to be ready to dedicate to them. If you're counting the hours, if you're counting the minutes, time's up, gotta go, you're usually not a really good coach, because you're more focused on you than you are on them. How everyone thinks they are a coach. Yeah.
That pandemic, I think that shut-in, that pandemic bred a lot of coaches, because now people weren't able to actively do whatever they were doing, and now they were home, and there was an explosion in the coaching industry. I mean, it's we were coaches before that. We saw it happen.
I would actually say that they actually all of a sudden realized that they wanted to work from home and refused to work anywhere else. And so then all of a sudden they're like, well, what could I do and not leave, not actually work anymore? And so then they decided coaching. That was it. But the true coaches, one of the things that I know, and you guys have been around for a long time as well, I've been doing this for 16 years, through ups, downs, and sideways of the economic cycles that we go through, and the way the world works. And I'll be here long after this cycle shifts again. So I would say look for that with your coaches. Look for the ones that have actually gone through some test of time and some success. If you wanted to advise people, what is the best, how do you find and how do you discern with all the people that are saying they're coaches these days? This is a great lesson. So listen up, everyone. How do you discern? How do you decide who's a great coach? If someone was looking for a coach, how would they decide? Like, who out of all the ones that they hear about?
That's such a nebulous question in many respects, because there's so many components to it, right? So first one obviously is, did the coach get the results that you're looking for, right? So Robin said there, being an expert isn't the only qualification, but it is one of them, in that, are they an expert in whatever it is they are coaching? But then on top of that, there is, do you have enough like honor and respect for that coach that you're going to listen to what they share, right? Are you coachable, right? And have you found the person you connect with, who is going to, you're going to listen to, obviously. And also, do they have some other experiences? Because if they're not balanced, like one of the things, Paul, that we love about you is your balance, your love of family, like you're more well-rounded. If you go to a coach and while they're crushing it in one area of life, but the rest of their life is falling apart, you can, well, maybe the advice they're going to give me, I don't want the rest of those results. Like, just because they help me with this one part of my business or whatever, but now it's at a sacrifice of my family or my spiritual life or something. Then you go, I'm not really sure that they're going to be having a well-rounded and grounded perspective. So we really want to look at the whole person and know that there's a lot of other filters and biases that are coming through besides what they're coaching on specifically.
Or know that the advice that you're getting, and I often talk about this with, getting any sort of advice or expert into your world, whether it's an attorney, whether it's an accountant, whether it's a mortgage broker, whatever the advisor and the support team that you're building, be clear that's their wheelhouse, nothing else. The attorney is not an investment strategist. Don't turn to them for advice as to whether you should invest or not. They're there to protect you when you are. As for instance, and even real estate attorneys, it's like, no, they're there to protect you, not to tell you whether it's a good investment or not, because that's not their wheelhouse.
Right. And you want to be with then someone who's going to also know that and not go against and violate the other strategies or plans that you have. Because to that point, the accountant, they're or the attorney, they're here to save you from something. And yet the investment strategist is going to go from a whole other perspective. So you don't want the conflict. We're looking for alignment.
Right. Or know how to manage those conflicts, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the component of bring on the people that are the expertise, with understanding that the more holistic they are in their understanding, that works. But sometimes there are specialists, like my digital marketer is maybe a really good coach in digital marketing, only, personal life, I don't really care. They've got their wheelhouse.
Are they coaching or are they executing for you? Like, that's also a different.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with coaching, it's the person that's going to get you to take action that you wouldn't otherwise take a lot of the time. And sometimes it's somebody that is completely different than your industry, which I've experienced, and I think at different times we need different people. Sometimes we need that expertise, that particular niche down thing. We need specific details and instructions to execute on. And sometimes just that person that makes you uncomfortable to report a zero. I remember my daughter, when she was younger, on her soccer team, crying. Their soccer team was last in the league. She was the best kid on the worst team. And she's crying, "Oh, Coach Harlan, this new coach is so hard on us." And I'm like, "You guys went from last in the league to number 2. What's the point of a coach? To help us become a better team and better players." Is that happening? Yes. Mission accomplished. I don't care if you don't want to go get an ice cream with the guy. So the thing is sometimes the best coaches for you are not people you want to get a beer with. And we have to understand, what river are we stepping in at that particular time? So, I've got clients that they need to know everything. I'm starting a new business. How do I get this launched? What do I do here? Boom, from beginning to end. And then I got people that just, they log in, they put in their numbers, like, "Hey, you wanted to build your database by this many, talk to this many people. Did you do it? Yes or no? What happened? What went right? What went wrong? What's your goal this week?" Sometimes you don't even talk, man. And at 30 minutes, they're just like, "This is what I did. This is what I know what I need to do." And that's what they need. And that is the magic that happens between two people. And it's, I think sometimes in the process, in discovering, maybe I should talk to a coach or a mentor. Sometimes in that process of talking to different people, you really discover what it is you need, but it's connecting with the person that points out that what you need that you didn't know you needed. Because how often, guys, does somebody think they need something and then they don't need it? "Oh, I need a better marketing plan." No, you don't need a better marketing. What do you mean? You don't need it. You're not there yet.
Yeah. So for coaching, and as a coach, when I'm engaging with people, one of the hardest transitions for a coach is to understand that that most people come in with a certain understanding, and they come in with an idea that I need X. And as a coach, our job is to move them to what will really serve them, not what they want. And oftentimes, what they think they need is just a desire or want, or more precisely, it's what people have told them is the thing that they need. And yet, someone who can really look at a 10,000-foot view, can look at them as a whole person, look at their business as a whole, can really see things that they can't from a different perspective that creates, this is really what's going to move the needle for you, not what you think. And to be able to transition people through that process is so powerful. Here's another question to add to all this. Do we only have one coach at a time? If we have different coaches for different cycles of our life, could we be going through different things at the same time and needing different coaches?
100%. I mean, I remember one example, like Tiger Woods at one point having 4 or 5 coaches, having, a swing coach, and having a stretch coach, and having a putting coach, and having right. So there's so many areas of our life that if we're really smart, we're going to seek expert advice for all the different areas of our life, so that, because one coach isn't going to be a fix-all coach. If they say they are, I mean, one could argue that, well, your mindset is everything and all that, and there's an element of truth to that, and there's still the deeper parts of it, whether it's in your business. You've got, you don't have one person running the entire business. The CEO has a series of experts within their company. So they've got the CFO, they've got the CMO, they've got the CRO, they've got all of the different people who are then relying on other areas of expertise. So if we were to look at our lives like that, then actually you'd be doing yourself a rather extraordinary disservice by not having multiple coaches.
Yeah, huge. And it's even the not just a disservice. People think that there's, in all those coaches working congruently together is what creates the magic. And that when you only have a piece of that, chances are you're going to go off kilter. And so all too often I see people look at this as a linear process. Well, first I'm going to work with this coach, then I'm going to work with this coach, then I'm going to work with that coach. And the challenge is that when there's different ideas or different strategies that need to be in place simultaneously, people don't get that advice and don't end up doing that in their career. And they end up with very choppy growth, very choppy layout of their business, because they're getting everything in piecemeal and then looking to apply it as such. And it's so fascinating to watch from that bigger worldview perspective, if you will, or whole holistic life view. That makes a big difference.
Yep.
With all that we've been talking about coaching, and in my eyes, we've been actually talking about multiple different types of coaching. And Doug, you mentioned at the beginning, and Chris, I think you did too, about, I don't really call myself a coach, or I call myself something slightly different. What are the different names of coaches, and why did you choose the name that you're going under? Good, Chris, start first.
I consider myself a coach, but I guess I didn't at first. It was like I didn't consider myself a leader until people followed me. So I kind of, like I said, it chose us. I feel like it chose me. I mean, my company is Dream Key Consulting, and to make the distinction between consulting and mentoring and coaching, they differ a little bit in mechanics, right? They differ a little bit in mechanics, I think, in how we're connected to the results and how we work with the people. But I think we all kind of do all these things at different points. And it could be with one client where you take on a more of a consulting role, and sometimes we'll get hired, to go into a company and kind of do an organizational audit and see what's going on and deliver a couple things, develop people, then move on. And sometimes you take over like on a coaching or mentoring, and mentoring is just, hey, following my model. I've done this before. Let's help. But I think it's all these different words. They all have this. They're all part of the same pie, really, and it's just different mechanisms to achieve the same results, which is kind of help people be better, enjoy life more, be more efficient. Fill in those blanks. I mean,
you've been watching.
Yeah. Welcome to the podcast, Heidi. How are you?
Okay, I'm going to turn on the mic. So, wait, hold on. Let me go to the settings and see if I can get her to hear.
One more coach to join the team here. And
you're in the middle of the thing. It's fine.
Oh, it's all right, Heidi. We're good. Come join us because we are talking about coaching. And she's out.
I was trying to get it so she could hear you. I've it on the headphones. She's going to chime in because she's brilliant as well.
Absolutely, and
a coach,
another great coach.
Yep, transformative.
We surround ourselves, and guys, and everybody that's listening in, one of the greatest things. One is surround yourself within your industry, submerge yourself in your industry, and surround yourself with the people that are doing what you do to help sharpen your axe. And then two, surround yourself with all great people and especially multiple coaches, because in this day and age, we're in this information age where we're inundated by knowledge, and yet fewer and fewer people actually know how to apply it. And that is the just dichotomy of our world right now. We have more knowledge than ever and less people applying it into their life effectively. And that's why coaching has become a thing, is that we are able to, as coaches, able to take the information, discern all the massive information out there and say, this is the nugget, this is the piece that you need, and bring it to your doorstep, and then help you apply it into your life. And that is the value. And it's so funny because we are surrounded by more information than ever, and yet to actually bring it to the doorstep and to apply it, to know what to use, when to use it, and how to use it is the magic of what we do.
Yeah, we're drowning in information, searching for wisdom, because it's just it's so saturated. There's so much, and not only it's because of the technology and marketing and so forth. It's not even like we could just go out and find it. It's being pushed to us, right? Like you can't turn on your phone or whatever and not have some sponsored ad or some person, basically sharing why they're the best at whatever they're doing. And that's all fine and dandy. It's just that there's also that illusion that we're getting information when we're not. We're getting
sound bites.
Yeah. So that's where you need that relationship with someone to help sort through that and to go, okay, yeah, I know. Yeah, the nice shiny object and all that. And here's where your focus will be best served. And here's how we're going to get you the results you're looking for. It's like we're kids, we're all kids, but like the child wants the snack rather than the actual dinner, right? Because the green beans don't taste as good, but the candy tastes really good, but it's not going to get them healthier. It's not going to get them stronger. It's not going to get them smarter. And sometimes, to Chris's point earlier, sometimes it's the coach that is like, nah, sorry, there's no way around it. You got to have the green beans. I'm just saying that's what we've got to have right now. You can go find those shiny objects and go down that path, but it's not going to be ultimately fulfilling. It'll be feel good short term and detrimental long term.
Yeah, or we just program them from young, like I did with my kids. They thought fruit was the obvious dessert after dinner.
Yep.
Yeah, like, oh, can we have dessert? That meant they got an apple, and they didn't know any better when they were young. We programmed them.
On programming for kids, Paul, that was funny because Kat, when I talked to her and she was like, I grew up in a house with a coach and speaker. I thought that that's what life was regularly like, right? So when she was talking about what inspired her to get into business on her own, it was so funny. But I'm like, I guess that would happen, right? So that,
Yeah, and it's so fascinating because when I got into this business, my kids like Katerina, she was 5, 6. When I started in this, so they've been submersed in this, and it's one of the things that I think helps with all people when we submerge ourselves with surrounded by people that are striving to be their best, that are striving to teach and be a part of that their ultimate potential, and understanding all aspects of that kind of living. Man, it's definitely contagious. And so for my kids, they grew up that way, and for all of us with our communities that we're in, man, I know what it does for me personally when I'm surrounded by the you guys and we're hanging out together, we're spending a lot of time together, and what it can do, what it does for me internally and my energy and my passion and everything else. So yeah, it all works. The concepts, and we got sidetracked, but the concepts of the names of consultant and mentor and coach and all these components, and like we were saying, we are a piece of, we tend to do all those pieces when we're coaching, or at least we do, the people that are on this call. However, not everyone does. They go in their lane. And so a coach is more of an advisor and traditionally versus a consultant that'll get more in the weeds, and with their books or their team and working in their business, more specifically than on their business. Um, but for me, it's I enjoy doing the dance of being able to advise them from a 50,000-foot view, a 10,000-foot view, and from a ground view, and work with them at all those different levels. For me, it creates that excitement and that energy that I love. But for all of us to find that lane as a coach and be specific with when you engage as a client, when you engage and hire a coach, what is it that your expectations are? What is it that you're looking for? And if you guys have any comments around um, how most people should engage into that relationship when they get started.
Well, have clarity as to what it is you're looking to accomplish, because the coach will help you get some of the clarity for you, but you really want to know kind of what's your outcome. What do you want to experience? And one of the things that I also do is I will send a questionnaire and ask them how they want to be coached. Right? What's their style? Do they want someone to be hard, hold them accountable, or do they want someone to brainstorm with? Do they want someone that is, and then from there, that's a benchmark, but also give a rating. So, where are you at right now in these different areas of your life? How will you know there's been an improvement? What are the KPIs that you have in store? And it's having some clarity around that, because, as a coach, as a mentor, whatever, we can only help uh, only help them go so far. And then if we're getting mixed signals, then we could be helping them go down a path that is more about what we want for them rather than what's it best for them. So it's really it's really a function of mutual clarity.
Yeah, and as Robin says, sometimes they walk in and they don't have the clarity, and coaching can help them give them that.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong, but it's what are you going into? You're going into the coaching because you wanted the clarity.
Right.
You're clear. You wanted clarity.
And it's so interesting, that expectation level to walk into the relationship knowing what you're looking to get out of it. I also asked them one of the almost the counter to what you were saying. What's the best way that you really like to be coached? Some people don't know what they like. They know for sure what they don't like. So I asked them, what would be the thing that would absolutely shut you down? What type of approach would that look like? And so then at least you know what never to do with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have that too, of course. Yeah, because you want to have both sides, the carrot and the stick.
There you go. So any other comments? We're definitely talking. Is Doug? All right, I have to share this just for fun.
That's my that's one of my speaking buddies. That's one of the social ninjas there, J-Man. He's
Perfect, J-Man. Yeah, is Doug a stunt double for Iron Man? Yes, especially with those glasses. Especially with those glasses.
They're not. They're just regular. They're not Iron Man glasses.
JT. He's like Doug looks like Tony Stark. I was like, well,
he's
like Tony Stark. I was like, which one? They both kind of look like Tony Stark.
Yeah, perfect. So for if we were advising people about hiring a coach, about getting into that kind of relationship, what were some piece of advice that you would give them as we close this out?
I'd say you start having conversations about it, and first, like Doug said, understand what result you want to achieve, and having a why you want to do it really helps. And when in talking to a coach, I like someone that asks questions and listens, and that's because. To me, the kind of coach that says, this is what we do, this is how it works, this is how we get results, and our methodology works, this, that, and the other thing, where I think it's a kind of a malleable thing. It needs to be, like what happens in your conversation with each person? How do you feel when you leave it? Are they inspiring you to take actions towards your result? And a lot of it is feel. It's how do you feel with the person? And you might love someone as a coach that's good for you, that's not great for someone else. And I think that's important for both the coach to know and the potential client, right? Just see how it feels, have those conversations, feel it out.
Yeah, agreed. It's a conversation of, is this person, do you get a sense that this person genuinely is going to be listening and helping guide the outcome, as opposed to, like, okay, this is the cookie cutter, here's what we do. And then, it's like, there's an element of that, right? There's only so many ways you could draw a square, yet at the same time, if the only thing you've got in your toolbox is a hammer, everything's got to be a nail. So if there isn't that opportunity to be flexible, to really understand who you are, where you're going, when you could really help find their why, then you could help them be even more creative in getting there, because as a client, you may think it's got to be this one way. Yet if the coach truly understands who you are and your why and what's going on behind it, you may find that you'll find an even better way to get your ultimate goal. That it's, I want a lot of money. Okay, why? Right. So we could help you make a lot of money, but like, we could maybe get some of the other things while you're making more money. We could get those other needs met, and you'll make even more money faster because you'll be enjoying the process as you're doing it and find that you're actually fulfilled.
Right. Yeah. With hiring a coach, I would say one is, and I advise this with personal assistants as well. By the time you are thinking about possibly getting a personal assistant, it's already too late. You've already been losing money by not having one. And kind of the same thing, as soon as you start realizing, oh, you know what? What's this coaching thing about? Maybe I should hire a coach. You're already behind 8 ball, meaning take action now and move into it quickly. This will be one of many. And once you're in the game, and once you get what a coach can do for you, for your life and your business, you will tend to have one by your side for the rest of your life. And that is so powerful to recognize, that once you recognize what it'll do, you'll never want it not in your life. And that tends to be what I see over and over again. The challenge is that people hesitate to get into it in the first place. And even what Robin's saying here, she's intimidated by having a coach and what it meant, and simple conversation about what coaching really means makes a huge difference. That it's not about someone just telling you what to do. This is your life. You get to decide. It's about having someone in your corner. And I talked about it being like a board of advisors for your life. That a coach is there to guide, advise, bring expertise into the game while it's still you, and you get to make a decision. You get to choose. You get to decide. It's still your life. This is just your board of advisors to bring an extra piece to the table so that you're making the best decisions possible. Any last minute comments?
No, not that I could think of.
Take action, everyone. Absolutely engaged. Love talking to you guys. This has been phenomenal. And just us getting together and talking and spending a little time together about what we do is such a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here, Doug and Chris. And for everyone out there, come participate in the Maverick community. Both Doug and Chris are here on a regular basis. They also have their own aspects of the world that they help out all around the world. So pay attention, play, contact all of us, be a part of this, and real pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul.
As we close out today, thank you so much for being here. This was a live broadcast, and this also was a segment of Mavericks Do It Different podcast, where we do different things, creating different thoughts, different words, different actions to create different results. You want more in your life, you want more in your world, you want more in your business, come hang out in the Maverick universe. Continue to listen to Mavericks Do It Different podcast. Share this podcast to whoever you think might want it and everybody else in your community and your world, because our focus is to create a better world for us all. Till next time, everyone, take care now.
Thanks for being here today. As our gift to you, be sure to go to themaverickuniverse.com, where you can download your free copy of the Maverick Manifesto. Until next time, dare to be different. Dare to be a Maverick.